All right, ladies and gentlemen, back in no time. Draft 2 here. Again, U of T going to be on the Radiant, UBC taking the Dire. Similar bans coming out here thus far. What would you like to see out UBC this time?
I'd like to see them pick lanes that they can execute, and I'd like to see them make sure that they're responding to what their opponent brings, right? What happened last time was that they had really weak lanes, but then they also didn't change their game plan once the lanes started to fall apart. They just continued to roll in the direction that they would have gone if they were in the lead.
So less greedier of a draft, at least when it comes to laning phase.
Yeah, exactly. Just easier to execute. Something that doesn't rely on early execution, but can steamroll from early execution, right?
Speaking of reliable Clockwork, this hero is a very reliable hero. And a classic combo here coming out from Clockwork Shadow Fiend. I feel like I've seen this so much time in this patch. What do you think about this combo?
It's very, very strong. There's really not a lot you can do against it. If you do get that cogs with the Requiem of Souls in the middle of it, you've just got at least one hero dead, guaranteed. There's no way to interrupt. There's no way to stop because the cogs with the battery assault. Of course, Clockwork able to just make sure that heroes are being stably positioned for shadow raises early in the game for ganks as well. Very, very potent.
10 seconds.
What do you think about this Dazzle pick? It's I feel like a support that we see quite rarely unless he's a setup for something else like a Terrorblade or like a Huskar. What do you think about it here?
I think Dazzle's a perfectly fine hero. I don't think there's anything innately wrong with him. I don't think that he's particularly strong right now. I'm interested to see what they do with him.
I guess there's a heal bomb potential from Final Lancer Illusions as well with the Shadow Wave.
I mean, you've got the heal bomb potential. I don't think that they actually had access to the Shadow Fiend when they picked it, but the weave is nice to offset some of the negative armor from Presence of the Dark Lord. Not that that's the biggest thing in the world, but it does make some difference. And then Grave can be good. It's not that good with PL, but it's good with lots of other heroes. So, like you said, watch out for potentially a Legion commander. Watch out for a potential Huskar or a potential Terrorblade. Honestly, if I'm UBC, I'd probably draft a Terrorblade here just to make sure that it doesn't end up with U of T.
Yeah. Terrorblade can be quite scary with Dazzle, guaranteeing a max value Sunder off if you have enough time to get a Terrorblade off of whatever CC he is probably under, as he's dropping very low. And as you mentioned, Grave not very good with Final Lancer because he will be creating 1 health illusions, which will get promptly cleared off by anything.
And the other thing with the Terrorblade, if UBC do want to deny pick with that Terrorblade, the Shadow Fiend is a pretty aggressive post lane hero. He manages to take control really well. He plays as a game leader and a playmaker, which means the Terrorblade would have a lot of space to just kind of knock down towers if everything goes according to plan. Even if they fall behind, a Terrorblade on UBC would allow for a potential just kind of swing comeback. All that Shadow Fiend needs to do one time is make a really strong fight, and then the Terrorblade's going to clean up a bunch of towers. So a Disruptor here, pretty good against the Sand King, pretty good against the Phantom Lancer. Not really that great against the Dazzle, but you don't really need to counterpick a Dazzle either.
Yeah, Dazzle going to stay in the back lines, and they already have the Clockwork to be like semi-counter to Dazzle there. If Clockwork can find the angle on Dazzle, would love to take him out first before he can save someone's life.
Yeah, and Dazzle is as vulnerable to a Disruptor as anybody else, I suppose, in terms of the glimpse and the damage. But if your Dazzles is being found at the beginning of a fight, he's doing his job wrong anyway. He's one of these guys that shouldn't be visible until it's time to come in for a heal, come in for a grave, something like that.
For sure. Probably expecting PL to be the target of a lot of those static storms from Disruptor.
Yeah.
Viper coming out from U of T, so very early game draft here for Toronto.
Yeah, a lot of push actually coming out of U of T, so that maybe they're looking to make this another quick game, pull it in a quick 2-0, get to bed here, or get back to studying or whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah, and there it is. I mean, you were talking about Terrorblade. I mean, no longer really a counter, like a ban pick here because they did pick out their mid laner, U of T did. But Terrorblade's still a very strong hero for the reasons you mentioned. Shadow Fiend, a very good mid game space creator for Terrorblade to do his thing and get really really scary in the late game.
Well, you also have to keep in mind that's probably mid Phantom Lancer, right?
Yeah,
Because that's how U of T ran it last time. It worked really well. I think a mid Phantom Lancer, in theory, does better up against Shadow Fiend than he did up against a Tinker, and he really decimated the Tinker. So
yeah.
that Viper, honestly, it could be it's probably a safe lane Viper. It could be an off lane Viper with a 4 position or jungle Sand King. So there is still some potential that you might have a safe lane carry coming out here, although I expect it to be a 4 position roamer.
Yeah, the reason I'm thinking Lancer as the safe laner here might be because of the Dazzle. They might want to lane those two together. Of course, a dual lane mid is not unheard of nowadays either.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and Dazzle could also be involved with roaming, potentially as well. Come in for that heal bomb that I expect that's what you're calling out for being particularly useful in the early game with that combo. No, we'll just have to wait and see. The Phantom Lancer is not going to have a ton of illusions really early on in the game.
Yeah.
Right? So that heal bomb's not really going to be very useful before level 4 or so anyway. I don't necessarily know that you base your whole laning phase against a combo that you're going to be able to get around level 4 for a support. But yeah, they have a lot of options open for them, which is makes it very difficult to draft against them and makes it very difficult to lane against them because they could really be bringing a lot to bear.
So UBC using their well saved up reserve time here for their last pick, probably going to be looking for their offlaner here. Who do you like for the offlane for UBC?
Oh, taking a look. I mean, a Tidehunter would be fine here if they wanted to return that up against their opponents. It's pretty good to just kind of knock down the PL illusions. It's pretty good with the Static Storm. It's got a nice return. You could be looking at somebody like perhaps a Doom as well, sitting for the off lane. It's very good against Dazzle. If you can get the right PL, it's very good against PL as well. But only if you have enough control of the game to be able to grab another one.
Centaur.
We're gonna go with Centaur. I think that's fine. Yeah. I don't think that like stands out to me in any way. Like, it doesn't really set them up in any particularly good way, but they did need some, disable.
It is
right
also,
now all they really have is a clock.
It is also good at clearing out Final Lancer's illusions with that very powerful nuke double edge.
Yeah. Yeah, if the illusions are all bunched up, he can definitely clear them out. And returns really good against illusions as well. Stampede, okay for setting up the clockwork if he doesn't have hookshot available. And because it is a 4-spot clockwork, he's not going to have an Ags super early,
Yeah.
So he's not going to be relying on that hookshot to set himself up. Overall, I don't know that Centaur brings anything just game-changing in. It just kind of shores up a couple of the weak points of the draft.
Centaur also another just kind of a natural Crimson Guard builder, which can be something he might want to consider against Phantom Lancer in the late game.
Yeah, definitely that could be valuable if the game goes long enough. I wouldn't put it ahead of a couple of his normal items, but
yeah,
certainly, the game goes pretty long, and you want to make sure that those illusions aren't doing too much damage to you. You can move into one of those.
So U of T also utilizing their reserve time here, 50 seconds left. They could be looking for either their offlaner or a roamer, depending on where the Sand King wants to poke his head into. Do you think they need more control here? They only really have stun on the Sand King.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have very much control at all. It is a good point, but on the flip side, there's not a lot of control from their opponents.
Yeah.
Right? And Phantom Lancer does much better without control than Terrorblade does.
Yeah.
Phantom Lancer can close gaps a lot more successfully. So same for Viper, right? They have slows, and Phantom Lancer can speed up pretty much anytime he wants to. Sand King can close gaps a lot better than Centaur in most cases.
Choose
Elder
your
Titan
order.
provides quite a bit of control in a very limited way. Very, very good combo with the Sand King, though, right? You get a nice
Yeah.
big stomp, and you can just set up the epicenter with no problems at all.
Yeah, and also the natural order, very good against Shadowfiend and Terrorblade, both very high armor heroes, does come from natural armor, and they rarely kind of go out of their way to build an armor item. So Elder Titan can really do some work against those heroes when he's on the offensive.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into this match, just want to go ahead and throw out another heads up to our sponsors. I do want to thank Twitch for continuing to give us support year after year, making sure that Collegiate Star League is a thing and making sure that there is an opportunity for players of the collegiate age group and skill level to be able to move in and earn some education, earn some scholarships with their love of gaming, and just trying to help, push video games and esports into the next level where people at all skills, people at all stages in life are able to
Prepare
contribute in
for
good ways.
battle.
So into the game we go here. Already the cogs trick working out right now, getting the 3 souls onto the Shadow Fiend. And this might be a 2 cogs one here. They start a little bit late. Nope, they get it. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
I
quite
actually
practice.
Totally forgot about this. I for some reason I thought they patched this. 'Cause I remember seeing this a really long time ago.
Yeah, no, this is super popular right now. I feel like half the games I cast in CSL, if the Clockwork doesn't get banned, the Shadow Fiend and Clockwork gets picked in a row to each other.
They really do need to patch this. I remember last time Shadowfiend was really popular. It was something that we were seeing all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're doing this out here. They could have just saved the
30
mana.
seconds.
Yeah, how does cogs have souls anyways? That doesn't make any sense.
Right? No, it's ridiculous abuse.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like 2013 when you could put Armlet on Bear and run him around. Like, yeah, it's in the game, but come on, guys.
Hey,
They could get one
good old
more.
like fountain hook as well. Yeah, that
Wait, no,
clip
they're
of
full.
Loda being really angry.
And now they're going to try
Cogs
to
give
move
to
on
woman.
as
This is a
well.
little bit aggressive here. It's gonna take a lot of damage getting cogged back as well and stomped up. Yeah, a little bit too aggressive for it. He has a level of doppelganger. He's gonna try to get up to high ground here with it. Can he get out alive? Disruptor's Thunderstrike
He's
is
got
in
it.
1 second, and that is gonna spell his doom. CJ gonna get one more hit on his back as well to make sure to do him in. So Ku's gonna
That's-
take that.
That's really devastating too, because it means that he has to have Doppelganger level 1 instead
Yeah.
of having his Phantom Lance, right? Which means he's going to have less control in his lane. He does end up going to the safe lane as you expected, but the Dazzle, ironically, is going to go into the mid lane. So.
Yeah. This is going to be a good old tri-lane mid here for Toronto, at least to begin off here. Trying to fight against this 12 soul Shadow Fiend coming into a lane with plus 24 damage.
Oh yeah, you know what? There's something that just occurred to me too that we were talking about last game with the coordination, specifically for University of Toronto. You mentioned it that they are playing with stand-ins, but I just want to highlight that fact. A lot of these really small issues with coordination probably come down to practice.
Yeah.
2 stand-ins, you've got a lot of room for potential error.
Yeah, there's a lot of your percentage of your team being not the usual crew they are used to communicating with.
It only takes a quarter of a second in some of these cases of communication slowdown in order to make it really impossible for the team to execute.
Yeah.
So it is 5 heroes mid right now, basically.
Yeah, Poison 3-5 just using his Astral Spirit to zone out the other supports. Oh, mid lane, there's going to be a big fight here. They're going to go at it to the death. Can they win it? No, Big Bun Theory's going to be able to win it. He will tick down to the poison, but the experience goes over to the side of Big Bun. Very close dueler. Even Salve being used up in that close engagement just to get like a little bit of health for Big Bun Theory. It actually ended up mattering.
Yeah, I've got to say, Terrorblade is really taking control of this lane in a very effective way. The PL's not getting nearly as much control of what's going on. I say that as the Centaur walks back for his bounty rune, but the Centaur's able to come in and get stuff done. He's basically keeping up with the PL, whereas the Terrorblade, 10-2, his opponent, the Sand King, should be able to be getting in and getting some last hits, but he's only sitting on 8.
Yeah. Mid lane, there's going to be a little fight here. Elotine with that invisibility rune actually has not hit level 2 yet, unfortunately. Maybe he's trying to soak some experience up, but I don't think he'll get level 2 in time. Maybe with this range creep. We'll see. Actually, he's very close. Yeah, he's at level 2. Right, this is what they're looking for. But Cell being used by Big Bun. And CJ even roaming around here as well. They find the clock. The clock is going to push him back. The sleep is going to be there for the Shadow Fiend, and that's going to be the disengage, at least for now.
A couple of cheap shots in here as well. Something that we really need to keep our eyes on is how does the Shadow Fiend leverage that good start into the mid game, because he is the throttle for his team. Right? If he does not execute expertly and open up space, we'll probably see University of Toronto get off to a better start. We'll probably see a good chunk of the mid game controlled by University of Toronto, and we could even see a decent net worth lead go their way if the Shadow Fiend is not able to execute off of this lead effectively. It really comes down to him. Now, that does not necessarily mean that University of Toronto are going to be in a good place to win the game, because with the Terrorblade on the other team, you not only need to start off well, but you really need to make sure you're controlling the map and not letting that Terrorblade out.
Oh, top lane. Speaking of Terrorblade, getting harassed down to really, really low life. 100 health for him right now. 37 can pop the mango for one more burrow strike, but heal is going to be playing that safe for now. Is there a self for him? No self for him on the disruptor either, so he's going to be needing to waiting for that courier, which actually isn't carrying. He actually is carrying out Tango, so he's going to be fine.
Yeah, the SK does have quite a bit of damage in a one-on-one, but he can't very effectively dive super deep just because he doesn't have a lot of escape. Right?
Actually, finding Allison there, CJ cogging up. That Dazzle has spent no chance against the Centaur and the Tinker.
Yeah, and we're starting to see a little bit of control lean into the way of the Dire side. We're going to have a disconnect here.
Portion 3 and 5 actually just popped the smoke right on top of CJ. Did not expect the clockwork to be right there. Very awkward pause for them. And even the Centaur are going to be taking some time in the washroom here. Hopefully they don't take too long with this reconnect.
Yeah, probably just having a little bit of issue with Puppy. The good old Puppy pause. So I expect that the clockwork to probably try to cogs the Elder Titan. In terms of movement speed, the Elder Titan is quite a bit faster.
Yeah, clockwork's still 11 seconds in the barrier cell cooldown, so that might play into a factor here.
Yeah, I don't think the clockwork's going to be able to make anything happen here, but he did as you said just block a smoke. So
yeah, that
by itself is a pretty substantial gain, and in the lives of a support, a wasted smoke is a big issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's money gone on already poor support. And we might also want to play attention to top a little bit. Hill just popping the Metamorphosis. Actually, just when this pause happened, a lot of stuff happening simultaneously across the map. Disruptor actually has no mana for a glimpse either, so 1337 should be able to get out of this, I think.
Yeah, 1337, the one issue is that, well, he probably has noticed now that there's no mana for a glimpse. But if this had been going on without a pause, he very well may not have realized that there was no mana for a glimpse and would have saved his Burrow Strike, allowing him to take a lot more damage. Because he does have to use his Mango to Burrow Strike away if he wants to get away.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is why Ku was typing that puppy on the chat. But I don't think you disconnect on your position 1 just for a pause like this.
Hey. So that's how you know it's next level.
even the casters don't see it. Yeah, so people in the chat actually having a discussion about if the cogs should be working or not. Some people, are on the fence, over the fence with you, saying that's definitely abuse, and some people are saying it's strong but not strong enough. But yeah,
I mean, it's absolutely abuse. There is no it's strong but not strong enough. Here, literally 100% of Shadow Fiend's laning presence. There's only two things that in his hero design that are supposed to make him a balanced hero, right? The first thing is that his ability to last hit is extremely minimized until he gets souls, and the second thing is that he can't effectively get souls until level 2, because if you get at level 1, you aren't really able to last hit because your damage is too low, so you have to get Shadow Rays first. And then the sort of 2.5 on that is that you have to be spending your Shadow Rays mana to get creeps for souls instead of using it to harass. So I mean, you can just look at the HP balance between the two mids, and you can see the difference that makes. Now he can right click with an additional 9 damage right out of the gate. And in addition, he can focus his Shadow Rays mana largely on his opponent rather than on the creeps because he already has enough damage to right hit. It's a huge boost, and it really undermines the balance of the hero.
Yeah. Definitely not what they balanced Shadow Fiend around to have Clockwork feeding him soul at the start of the game. And it's not like Clockwork, it's like they have to draft really far out of their way because both those heroes are already good anyways.
Right. Yeah, you know, it would be one thing if that combination didn't really give you anything at all, but like I said, it's enough of abuse that I thought that they patched it a long time ago.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen it in a bit because I haven't been casting as much lately. I hope it gets patched soon because Shadow Fiend is a good hero in his own right, and so is Clockwork, and you don't really need this kind of interaction to make them work.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So yeah, that Poppy pause, quote unquote, actually hopping out during this, actually not popping the mango meant he could complete his soul ring without a problem here. So he has that in his inventory. So Burrow Strike for days for him.
Yeah, and I mean it works out. I don't know what pause rules this lobby has. I don't know if it's competitive pause rules or not because I don't think this is ticketed.
Right.
And it being not competitive pause rules means that he could have been looking around at his opponent's inventories and manas. However, it's possible that he wasn't able to. I'm not 100% sure what the players were seeing during that.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that competitive pause is in effect. If there's a way to set that, they probably have set it in the lobby. It just only makes sense.
Anyway, moving around to the rest of our play here. The Centaur sitting at 17 against the 32 of the PL. Meanwhile, the Sand King is now 24 against the 28 of the Terrorblade. So Sand King has been able to get a lot more out of this lane.
Ooh, they actually find Heil on the top lane with the 2 support rotation there. CJ the next target, but no more stuns to be able to follow up on that.
They really needed this Clockwork to come up here and cogs that Sand King with the Disruptor ready to glimpse him once the Burrow Strike out happened, right? The Sand King is extremely vulnerable with the disruption as long as you have some sort of a disable for him first to force him to Burrow Strike out before you use the glimpse.
Yeah. CJ actually rotating around to Allison here. Is that going to Burrow Strike in 1 second? CJ is going to take a huge amount of damage. Even the heal coming out for some extra damage. He might actually be taken down here. Sentry being dropped from Ko as well. Will he pay the price? 2 more attacks will do it, but Allison, yeah, too much damage from Heil to be able to risk that kill. So just 1 for 1 there. The offlaner going down for the roaming Clockwork.
You know, this has opened up the mid a little bit, and you know, once again, this Shadow Fiend having gotten off to such a good start and being able to harass.
Yeah, meanwhile, actually, Viper Strike coming out into mid sleep as well. It's going to be broken immediately, but Teki surviving that with just 50 life. Old baby Wayne is going to be stampeding in, but Teki's sipping on that self is going to be fine. We gotta make sure not dying to that return damage. Is very low right now. 33 health. Old baby Wayne is going to commit to this. He gets baited in and they get taken down by the tower.
Yeah, that was just really good play from Techies on the Viper.
Yeah.
Just egging that Centaur on. He attacked the Centaur enough to return damage himself low, be a vulnerable target, and they know that there is no missile available. At least no missile available that's going to do enough damage on the Clockwork because the support Clockwork at level 4 really needs the max battery assault.
Yeah,
There's
also
really
Viper
no
with
way
2
to
levels in the
get it.
corrosive skin, give him extra magic resistance. Top lane, 1337 gets glimpsed back, and most likely that actually the stomp is there. It's clutch saving him. The heal coming up, but the swap is going to be there against his own support there. He actually takes a kill thanks to that, but heal is going to still pay the price. Ku is going to be able to get out even with that aggressive swap coming out. Oh no, actually the Astral Spare is going to be there. Position 3-5 is going to use a stomp to celebrate, and CJ, the lone survivor here on the dire top lane.
Yeah, I did say a little while ago that whether or not the Shadow Fiend is able to get out and control the game, so moving out of the laning phase is going to really be our throttle. I have not really seen the Shadow Fiend able to get very much done so far.
No, mid
He
lane,
was
Big Bun
able
Theory
to-
getting slowed down again. Stampede had to be used just to save him, but that's not even going to be enough. Nether Toxin is going to be able to take him down. Excuse me, actually, that's Poison Strike.
You know, I don't want to play favorites, but it's pretty clear that this Viper player is.
Yeah, he's getting chased down again, though. Old Baby Wayne does get broken up by the Nether Strike, but the Poison is going to be able to finish him off with the Death Rattle of Techies.
I'm pretty sure that this Viper player is just a much better head-to-head player than this Shadow Fiend player. Nothing against the Shadow Fiend, but you know, this is the second game in the row where this matchup has gone really, really awry in the mid lane, and Shadow Fiend had a very good start, and he utilized that start pretty effectively. He just the rotations have obviously helped the Viper quite a bit, and Shadow Fiend hasn't really gotten very many successful rotations, but you know, additionally, he's not been able to leverage the advantage that he had as successfully as we would need.
But bot lane now, Shadow Fiend is done with the Viper in the lane. He wants to get some other kill. Doppelganger is already used by God's Gift to Woman, sided already by the Thunder Strike as well, and then the final double edge from Old Baby Wayne is going to take down the Fell Lancer.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
And I mean, that's a big kill, but it's not big enough to kind of rest on your laurels. You need to get more than that.
Big Bun Theory trying to catch up on his souls in this lane while he can. Before he needs to think about rotating back to mid here, because Viper is going to be focusing on pushing this tower if he's not here. And mid lane tower, very important for the early game control and the flow of the map.
And they are
Storm coming out, actually catches two on both sides of the Storm. The Static Storm is going to find the Viper, and he dodges the hook shot. He's going to try to make a lot of space here, but he's going to be taken down without a problem. Potion 3-5 should be able to walk himself out, and he's going to be a-okay. Very fast on the hero with Tranquil Boots plus another Windlace on top of it, assuming going for a Yule Scepter.
Yeah, he is going to be able to set up quite a bit in terms of kill potential here very, very soon, but he's not there yet. And he has fallen behind his opponent now in terms of levels, which means that Viper could be a problem with
Dyer's
himself.
top tower is under attack.
Yeah, for sure. This PL been given a lot of space, sitting on top of the net worth here, 4,300 gold. And Shadow Fiend, as you said, struggling here, 3,700 gold on a hero that usually you want to see do a lot better in the early game, so he can play that mid-game tempo controller that you were talking about.
Yeah, but, you know, I also said earlier that this is sort of to be expected if the Shadow Fiend falls a little bit behind, but it is not the be-all, end-all by any
There's going to be a
stretch of the
Viper Strike again on Big Bun Theory here. The Sleep coming on as well, and the Poison is going to be enough to finish him off. The supports come here to help, but they might actually be just signing their Death Wishes here. Techies, one more hit will going to do it. Yep, the Poison will be there. The hook shot again gets blocked by a creep. He is broken up in the Nether Toxin, and a triple kill going over to Techies.
Where is all this Terrorblade's gold?
Yeah, you're right. 3,700 only, and he seems like he had a lot of space in a way.
Yeah, I mean, has less gold than he has less net worth than the Centaur. I know he didn't have a ton of space. He did have some rotations, and it's hard to lane as an Illusions hero up into a Sand King. But he did have the Dazzle with him most of the time. Should have been able to make something work. Or not the Dazzle, the Disruptor, excuse me.
Yeah.
And he's much farther behind than I would expect him to be right now, especially because, you know, earlier in the game, before that puppy pause, essentially, we were talking about how he was getting so much more out of his lane than the Phantom Lancer. Well, now the Phantom Lancer, the Sand King, and the Viper have the top 3 net worths in the game.
So Phantom Lancer does go down the bot lane for playing a little bit too aggressive against Old Baby Wayne. I think he was trying to do a cheeky doppelganger illusion play here, pretending that he wasn't the real PL, but Old Baby Wayne saw right through that and just kept attacking the unmicroed PL, not falling for it even till the very end.
Boy,
Dyer's top tower
this
under
is, once
attack.
again, this is not over. It just takes really one good engagement to buy some space for this Terrorblade to really swing this game around. And we could see that happen anytime in the next, 3 to 5 minutes if this team is able to start responding to this Viper in a successful way. But KCY being so far behind and not being able to get his Yules up before this Viper is running amok has really put the hurt on his team. his team has no way to respond without him.
Yeah, very similar start to the last game here. 3 towers already being taken at 14 minutes. Of course, last game I believe they took all tier 2s by 14 minutes, but you know, obviously a different lineup here.
Step up.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah, no, you're right. Last game, things got really, really out of control. In this game, they're only sort of out of control.
Yeah. Shadow
But, you
Fiend
know.
even forced to jungle in the enemy's jungle for now.
It's probably the safest place for him to be right now, to be
Yeah.
honest. Because this PL is just going to be out here knocking down towers, and so you know you're not going to run into him. And these supports are just floating around your own off-lane jungle spaces. So where do you go? You go where your opponents aren't.
Yeah, they're just constantly pressuring this towers. Tier 2 in the bot lane already halfway gone. Astral Spirit is going to be used to scout out behind the trees here. It is nighttime, so did not see where the clockwork was. That rocket flare probably gives a general direction where the clockwork is going to be. But still a hook shot, still ready here for CJ, who hasn't landed it yet this game. Astral Spirit, yeah, scouts him out.
Cast it yet this game?
Yeah, he has casted it twice. He had landed on creeps both times.
Okay, well,
Mid lane techies again harassing out the Shadow Fiend, who has been brought back to his base to defend.
Top tower is under
Weave being used, defensive weave being used early on here to get the maximum armor value. They want to play aggressive here. Spear being gone on to Big Bun Theory, but just to make space, I think, to be able to get this mid tower down. Yule's being used on Balancer just purely defensively.
yeah, but this whole time the Viper is just clobbering down this tier 2, and there's no response.
Yeah, there. Nice blink in and triple stun from old baby Wayne to save his support on Ku. Now the pressure on the mid tower does not stop.
Radiant.
Yeah, Toronto know what they're doing. They don't want to get greedy for kills, diving high ground at this point. They're happy just taking objectives after objectives. God's Gift to Woman again getting gone on by the Centaur, and this hasn't been a very good matchup for him. Double Edge again taking him down. Midwall in the mid lane. The Dire takes down Dazzle somehow, putting 3 and 5. Gats glimpse back. Viper is trying to fire it up here, but now 5v1 for him. Not really a good space for him. 3037 has the epicenter but does not use it. There is a Requiem used by the Shadow Fiend to take that pesky Viper down. So 4 for none trade here. Much needed fight victory for UBC.
That's that one engagement that I was talking about. And during that fight, you know, the Terrorblade was pretty close to the lane. He's able to immediately go into lane and start farming. I would be surprised if we're not seeing a different tune coming out of the lips of University of Toronto after that fight, because it has been demonstrated now that they can lose a fight, that they do need to watch their positioning, and now we're going to start seeing some catch-up items come out for their opponents.
Pushing 3 and 5, he might be feeding away as soon as he spawned, but his teammates are TPing in here. God's Gift to Woman coming down. Pushing 3 and 5 hasn't been taken down. Yule's being used defensively. Ko still burning down to those illusions. He might get taken down there, but Big Bun Theory, the more important target, being taken by God's Gift to Woman. But old baby Wade, his nemesis, comes in and takes him out. Heil lose all his mana to illusions, but the Stampede is coming out. Do they have any detection for him? No, the Cog is going to build cancel a Sandstorm, however. 3037, can he find Ku here? No, he's going to play defensive. Keep on running away. Thunderstrike is there to provide the vision for that glimpse. The Shallow Grave is used. The Cosmic Finalist should be able to take down Ku here, but 3037 is going to pay the price for that. Allison trying to slow them up. Meanwhile, Tech is finding a kill on the Hiles, and old baby Wayne is going to TP out. A hectic fight in the end. A 3-for-2, the final score, but still the gold advantage. Actually, 3-for-3, of course, that Elatine won down at the start of the fight. Slight gold advantage going over to UBC.
Yeah, UBC's happy to take that, though, right? Because there's no objective that they're going to lose while they're respawning.
Yeah.
And they did get a slight gold advantage. This smoke is really optimistic.
Yeah, they were doing underward
no
as
TP
well.
on KCY, though. So if they looked at his inventory, they are going to be going up and looking through these woods. But
Oh yeah, this is a poor Shadow Fiend. What a build.
you're never too poor to have a TP as a core.
Very
never
true.
too poor.
Even for support, honestly. You got TP in to sacrifice your life for your carries.
Yeah, like once in a while, you'll see a support and go, okay, I understand why that guy doesn't have a TP.
Yeah.
A core, you know, you save your own life if you have a TP. My God.
Exactly. You don't even need your support at that point. So Techie's transitioning that smoke over to push, at least do some damage to this tower. But he is kind of alone here. Elder Titan watching his back, but UBC posturing here around the Viper.
They know these two are alone.
Yeah.
And they're going to try to make a move here. If they get these kills with a hookshot initiation, this is going to be.
Oh, there's
big
going to be
trouble.
Yules onto the Viper, but the glimpse back is going to bring Techies back. He's now caught in no man's land here, 5v1. He's going to get taken down. Try to do as much damage as possible to a Clockwork, but he should be okay. Oh, even the Thunder coming from Heil. What a guy. Making sure his friend does not go down. And the healing is going to be there to bring him back up to full life.
Yeah, that was a really nice play by this team. They saw 2 heroes missing. They decided to go
Oh,
for
TP
it.
on CJ onto the shrine. He had no idea everyone was standing on top of it. Hookshot there, used just to stun. Old baby Wayne coming in, the old nemesis of the SPL. The Clockwork gets taken down, but Dazzle, the next target, he's going to go down before he can use a grave. But again, Big Bun Theory gets taken down. Stomp is not used. Old baby Wayne is going to get taken down. Hill comes in, pops the Metamorphosis, goes ham on 37. God's Gift to Woman has the Doppelganger available. He uses it after getting damaged. He goes up to the high ground. Do they know he is here? He has a TP. He's getting pinged out. They find him with a Thunder Strike, and that is going to be a 4-for-2 play here coming from UBC, starting to equalize this game.
Toronto can't be giving up these trades, right? And it all comes down to that one engagement where the Centaur was able to find a good stomp, able to catch his opponents off guard, and it kind of trickled out from there. But into a Terror Blade, you cannot have that one bad engagement. If you get a lead, you need to smother the map. Look at the vision here. There's no good vision from Radiant to take control of their opponent's jungle. What they don't need to necessarily do is rush engagements. What they need to do is not let this Terror Blade get any farm. And they're failing at that by trying to win a bunch of fights instead.
Yeah, Terrible is starting to catch up. We're talking about how terrible his lane went for him. But now, almost caught up to the PL. About 500 gold away from that. He should be able to make that up in no time using his illusions.
Yeah, this is not a significant amount of gold. And the Centaur has become the top net worth in the game.
Yeah.
Which normally is not a big deal, but since he's the only real control this team has, for him to have that much net worth just means that his opponents are going to be harder pressed in order to make sure that they're initiating these fights successfully.
Radiant structures are
Yeah, for sure. Old baby Wayne, I think he's gotten like 4 kills in the PL this game. So yeah, those money well deserved there for him. He's going to go for the Aegon Scepter here to protect his teammates a little bit better with that Stampede. But already a Blink Dagger Force Staff finish, as well as the usual Hood of Defiance on him as well.
Dire's top tower
That Hood of Defiance is also a pretty big deal into the epicenter.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get rid of this Centaur? Yeah, Viper's pretty good at chewing a hero like that down, but return damage, you don't want your damage dealing core to be losing all his health.
Blinking by Old Baby Wayne. Speaking of the Centaur, that is going to Shallow Grave, trying to stop up the kill on the other Titan, and he gets used up for now. He throws out Ult Splitter and gets taken down. Even Ellison getting taken out immediately right after. But meanwhile, Techies takes down Ku. Blink forward is going to be able to find 1337, and there's going to be a Burrow Strike out, but CJ trying to intercept him, gets found by God's Gift to Woman, 1337, very low. Maybe he can get out. I think he should be able to get out. No, actually, another Blink play by Old Baby Wade. He's just blinking everywhere, making these things happen, and then the Requiem combo is going to be able to blow up DPL. Techie is now getting body blocked up by these Ancients. Old Baby Wade, is he going to take this kill as well? No, he's going to give it to Big Bun Theory. He might take down the poison. Yes, the corrosive skin is going to be able to take him down, but still great fight nonetheless, especially with the Metamorphosis still up on Heil, transitioning over to this tier 2. A sleep is going to be coming out to delay it up for a little bit though.
So we were talking about how this Viper is going to be the key to controlling the mid game, but, or excuse me, the Shadow Fiend, but if the Terror Blade was able to get momentum, then the game is going to change tunes. Well, the Shadow Fiend honestly just got outplayed in the mid lane. He was not as strong of a player as his opponent. For the second game in a row, he's just not there, and that's fine. That happens in C-Star League sometimes, but the Centaur stepped up, man, and he was the space creator. He was the initiator. He was the throttle control that this team needed in order to get the Terror Blade into the game, and now they've got everything they need.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit you were doubting the Centaur pick for a bit, but of course something to think about when it comes to these kind of picks is sometimes these heroes are like these guys like comfort picks, and sometimes comfort pick is what you're looking for to carry the game, even though it might not be the most optimal pick, and that might be, I think, what's going on here for UBC on the Centaur.
Yeah, and At no point in time, I don't think we ever said Centaur's a bad pick. I
No.
think it was just like Centaur's a fine pick. He doesn't do anything in particularly good, but he does answer a couple of weaknesses in their own draft. And, but what this player has done with those shored up weaknesses is maximize the returns from it.
And he's farming up a storm in this jungle as well. Being so far ahead in levels, giving so much strength, and that return is just making those jungle creeps just killing themselves on him and clearing out waves as well. Oh, baby Wayne, but gets found though, farming a little bit too aggressive. The sleep isn't going to be there. Mobility items are there for the Centaur. Oh, the ping's coming out. They might be looking for a hook shot here. CJ pushing up for it. The hook shot comes out. They find two with it. One stun comes out. The static storm is going to be there, find the Viper. The silence prevents the Grave from coming out. Teke is going to be taken down in no time. The epicenter getting channeled up there, but the Requiem gets channeled up as well. And they're going to be able to find the Sand King probably. They're chasing after him with 1337. Burrow strike to the low ground. Oh, the CJ goes the wrong way. 1337 just channeling up this sandstorm here, and he goes downwards. And UBC just giving up on that chase. They say they have more important things to do, like this high ground push they need to do.
Yeah, and the Viper was sitting on top of a ton of gold when he died there. He lost quite a bit of it to unreliable gold atrophy. And then when he did buy, he bought out the Mithril Hammer, which I understand he bought that because it's more expensive, but his problem right now is that he's not surviving. The fact that he doesn't have a BKB yet is in and of itself probably game losing, but the fact that he's going for the Mithril Hammer instead of the additional health that comes from the Ogre Club, that is...
So top lane God's Gift to Warren might get fined by Ko here. If he gets Glimpse back, he's going to be in big trouble. He gets Thunderstruck up. They're saving up the Glimpse right now just in case if TP's out. There's going to be the Stomp as well. Ko is just going to hold a Glimpse, and then they're going to Stampede forward and just kill him with the Stampede damage.
Yeah, don't need the Glimpse, but something to keep in mind is that if he doppelgangers and he's not going to TP, you can always use the Glimpse to instantly kill one of the illusions. So it does make it a little easier to find him. You do have the Centaur to presumably interrupt any TP attempt as well as the Cyclone Staff. So
yeah, so the game's starting to fall apart here for U of T. Do you think their lineup, what can their lineup do at this point in the game to try to come back in this?
Once the Viper gets BKB, potentially he's able to stay in these fights quite a bit longer, and he's not going to be initiated on by that big AoE silence from the Disruptor and be pulled back into the fight, because this is a hero who at this stage in the game needs to kind of be in the back lines, right? PL should be the front line here, and Viper should be dealing more damage from behind. That said, I don't know that that's going to come out soon enough. I'm pretty sure that it won't. I'm pretty sure that we're going to see Roshan.
Oh, Clemson 3 to 5. Actually, the hook shot misses right on thanks to that Force Staff. And then we'll go right back into this Roshan right now. The Egg Inceptor is online for Centaur. We'll see if U of T can contest. They're going to throw another Spirit out there. The Stomp is going to be committed, but it gets cancelled right away by the Hoof Stomp of Old Baby Wayne. The Earth Splitter going out. It is not going to hit anyone. Instead, Fortune 3 to 5 is going to a sacrifice there. The Double Edge is going to be taken down. The Yule's combo used up again, but the Doppelganger is there in time. Godskiver one gets out. The Epicenter being channeled up. They actually might be able to turn this fight finally. CJ being taken down in the Nether Toxin as well. Godskiver trying to make as much illusion as possible. Old Baby Wayne is worth a lot of money. They'll take this down. Diffusal Blade is going to be there to slow him down. The Glimpse is there, but not in time. Now he'll the target they want to go after. God's Gift to Woman is out of mana. No more spirits coming out, but actually he does have the Soul Ring if he wants to go for it. But God's Gift to Woman takes so much damage, she actually isn't going to pop the Soul Ring to get the Doppelganger. He's wondering, team, where'd you go? And they're like, dude, we're clearing lanes.
Yeah, you're probably happy to take that fight the way that went if you're on the Radiant team, right, for Toronto.
Yeah, they made money out of that fight. About 1,900 gold there. Only 300 going over to UBC.
And they also prevented Roshan from falling. If Roshan goes down, that's probably game, right? And they still have tier 2s up in 2 lanes, so yeah, it's not like they're immediately in trouble. That fight by itself is nowhere near where they need to be in order to start taking control of this game. And the issue really has nothing to do with net worth, so the gain in gold, not really that big of a deal either, since the BKB was already up. That was the item they were really waiting for.
Right.
What they need is ability to take control in these fights with their sort of innate skill.
Oh, Allison's going to get found here, clearing up the sentry. The hookshot is going to be there from CJ, and the control is going to be there before the shallow grave comes out. And this
Can't
might
shallow
signal.
The attack or the cast animation is too long. It's not
Yeah.
possible. So if he gets a dazzle with the solo battery assault, the dazzle is just dead.
The Bro Strike is going to be there for a big bun theory. The Dazzle has bought back, but now Sand Kingdom will be in big trouble there. Static Storm being used against Sentekis, pops the BKB, but they're just going in. Heal's doing so much damage. They do not care. He stands on the Nether Toxin and blows him away. The Blink stun is going to be there against position 3 to 5. There's going to be a glimpse back as well on somebody. Position 3 to 5 to try to stomp before he dies there. The Shallow Grave wears out, and Allison is the target of the Yule's Requiem combo, and the lone survivor PL, who just got back out alive from the grave.
Radiant's middle barracks are
And that's probably game. There's no buybacks. They can probably just straight through.
Yeah, this is a Terrorblade after all.
Right. So I'm going to be willing to bet that we're going into a game 3 here any moment now.
Yeah.
Anything that you think that you need to see from Toronto in game 3?
Maybe this lineup was good early game focus, but maybe they did not have enough push on it, because they won't be able to capitalize on their advantage like they in the first game with the push. They didn't have the Shadow Shaman this time. Of course, that was on the other team, but there could have been Jakir that could have picked up. I'm not sure what the Dazzle did this game at all, actually. So I would have loved to see a Shadow Shaman or a Jakir instead.
Yeah, I think a Shadow Shaman or a Jakiro would have given them a little bit more just ability to turn some of these fights. Really, this game, I agree. Largely, it came down to control. It also came down to discipline a little bit, right? They got off to a good start, and then they started taking fights just for the sake of taking fights, instead of pushing in to make sure that they're getting good vision up and maintaining a chokehold onto the Terrorblade. So I'd like to see them think a little more tactically, and a little more strategically.
All right, so we're going to be going to a small break here as well for the game 3. We're going to get a cup of water as well. Hopefully these players can get ready for their third game as well. A lot riding on this. Can U of T break UBC's undefeated streak? We'll see it here just in a few minutes.
Radiant team. Dire team.